So one big question I want to ask in the story is, what if we give the best years of our lives to something and no one remembers? It's all for nothing. Do you think that there's a satisfactory answer by the end of the short story? Also, just to give context, I don't really feel that I directly answered it. I don't think it had to. At least that was what I was thinking when I finished this short story. Or maybe I'm just not completely aware of the answer, because it is a very big question that I also like think about when I think about. Obviously, I haven't gone through like a war, but there are things you go through in life, and you kind of look back on, and it's like that's it. Nobody has experienced it the same way that you did, and maybe nobody will ever remember what you did. So yeah, I'm not sure if the ending was like taking like cheesy or taking the easy way out, or was it uh like a satisfying ending to the whole piece.
I think for me, having your two characters go through or process their glory days and the war very differently, I think I like how you leave it entirely up to the reader to, I guess, discover for themselves which side they're on. Like, are you a Cyclab who, for you it matters so much that things are remembered and everything is documented, that sort of thing? Or are you the type of like, like, the past is the past. It doesn't have to You don't have to have the concrete things, or more like other people don't need to know something happened, because for you, in your memory, it is real. So for you, it doesn't have to be validated from other people. So for me, like, this is why I like that you put Mugen as a character, because I think it's also important maybe to have that other perspective of, what's true to you is still the truth, and you don't need other people to validate that. At least validate it in a way that, in terms of documenting it through text or through photographs, which is what the museum is like. So I like how Mugen just wants his sword, and he was his Chris, and yeah, he was good with that, and he's getting by on his own. And for me, it seems like he's a freer person, or a freer character to define the type of person he is now that he's old. So he between Mugen and Cyclab is tied to the past. At least that's how I feel now. Where I mean, as like where I'm at now as a reader and as a person, I feel like Cyclab is tied to the past, and not in a good way. So yeah.
Hey, those were such good insights. Thanks so much, Steph. Yeah, I think yeah, I love these workshops because I get another perspective um, about the characters that I write. I don't know why I just suddenly have a bigger appreciation for Mugen as a character right now, because he's just very he's a chill middle-aged guy. He just literally, his painting over his past with like new colors, even though he's colorblind. But he's much more like what Steph said. He's not tied to the war and what the war tried to make him become. Yeah, I always feel like Cyclab is like he tries to project himself as the freer, like the cooler hero, but it's not. It's Mugen. So thanks so much, Steph. Anyone else?
Okay, like I have like a thing, like it's okay, this is like, okay, this is kind of long. Like, because so three things. Okay, like, first thing is something that occurred to me like only now. Like, I'm just looking at your story again. I am suddenly looking at your story with the perspective of historical revisionism and, well, like in martial law and stuff, and that just kind of occurred to me now. Like, if everything was erased or distorted, like, does the efforts do effort does the effort still matter? Um and I don't know, like, that only occurred to me like literally just now. And I don't know, that like that's an interesting thing, thing to take away from it. Like, I actually, like, because it just occurred to me just now, I haven't actually delved into that. But I'm putting it out there just so it's like something you can consider about this. Second thing is like, um I kind of like, I think I don't know what happened in the war. Like, it kind of occurs to me like we don't exactly know if they won. You could take away that they won because humanity is still alive, but then again, this could be like a post-Infinity War situation wherein like half of the population died, but some heroes are still alive. Like, even the relationship between the public and the heroes is like somewhat ambivalent. So I think that's a really interesting, like, like lens to like look at it through. Like, I think something you could do if you wanted, is to like state within the story the outcome of the war either way. But it's interesting that you don't, because within this iteration, it further emphasizes that Mugen really isn't tied to the war anymore, because he's not actually thinking about its outcome. He's like, if anything, it's about what he lost in it, which is, like, I think Bailey and the people that he couldn't save. Um, and like the last thing, like the answer that you give and whether or not like you gave an answer, like, I think like the closest thing to an answer that you give for me, like my interpretation of it, was that confirmation of like friendship between him and but like between Stikla and Bogan. Like, when I said earlier, I don't think Stikla completely knew exactly where they stood, whether or not they were together because they were the only ones left, or because they cared about each other. And in a way, Mugen answered that at the end, that like he had another home to return to, but he stays for Siklam. And actually, like, and I think that's very interesting, because I think for throughout the entire story, it felt like Siklab, once he was young, was being told he's valued for his powers, for what he could do. And it's really interesting that at the end of the story, he can't really do anything. He's not as fast. He isn't as, like, as super powery as before. And yet this rival that he has, that like they seem to have hated each other's guts a long time ago, sees something worth staying for in him. And for me, that was a satisfactory answer. So yes.
Oh, thanks so much, Clarice. Wait, my notes are so much. Thanks so much for noticing that. I also like. I definitely will think about um the angle of like exploring historical revisionism, and interesting also that you brought up the ambivalence of people and like the outcome of the war. And I just, when I was writing this, I also realized that I don't even describe like who they're fighting. Like, are they aliens from outer space? Are they like evil heroes? I don't know if I should, because I always felt like the center was the relationship and the characters. Everything is going in the head. But anyway, I'm running out of time. Okay, I have one last question. It's really about how I can improve, but is there anybody else who wants to share their thoughts on if I answered the question by the end? Well,
Andy, I wanted to ask you, like at the end, right? Did you mean how much agency did you want Cyclops to have when he conjures the portal? He's the one who conjured the portal, right?
Yeah, I wanted him to do it. Maybe not like completely consciously, but he wanted to help Mugen out.
I really like my thoughts on the ending similar to Stephanie. Uh I just feel like that sentence like a portal wall to life by his feet and that surrendering. I like it, but I feel like the sentence can be tweaked a little bit so that it almost seems like he didn't mean it like somewhere a portal appeared because of the construction of the first clause. You could think about that, but I like the ending and the open-endedness. And apart from just the whole big theme, just ending on a note of friendship, right? I think you can also consider like apart from saying the diner's lights winking out, you can also mention like maybe they're gone and then what happened at the diner, like maybe nobody notices or something like that. That could be really great. Ooh, like they're gone but nobody really cares. You know, I think that would be a great way to leave like an echoey.
I love that so much, Yue. Thanks so much for pointing that out. And yeah, you're right. I think the sentence about the portal opening is quite passive, so I will revisit that. Thank you.